No, I have no chance against my phone. There was
That's so crazy.
there was actually one time where I played corporate simul, and there was this guy who said, I built a chess program in my university class. Can I let that play against you again instead of myself? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I actually like beat it fairly handily because I played some kind of like anti-computer chess where I just close up the position as much as possible and just let it have as few possibilities as possible to out-calculate me, so that it's a purely strategical game. That doesn't work against very good engines, but it can work against weaker ones. But no, humans, like, we don't have any. There was a Grandmaster who played a match recently against Leela, which is like the best neural network engine now. They were playing classical chess, and he started with a knight more. And they played a 10 game match, and he won 5.5 to 4.5.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Like, it's a knight more. Like, it should not be possible for any. Like, if God was playing chess, that shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to beat a Grandmaster in any game like that. So the Grandmaster was still able to win. But yeah, for me, I rarely play against engines at all because they just make me feel so stupid and useless. So I think about it more as a tool, more than anything else. And often, like, when you play against them, the moves that they make, they are not necessarily relevant as to what a human would do in that situation, because we just think differently.
Do you ever try to think like the computer?
Yeah, well, specifically the neural nets have improved our understanding of the game immensely. And the AlphaZero paper came out very late 2018. And actually, I played a World Championship match late 2018 as well against an American, Fabiano Caruana. That was the best match I think that I've ever played. We played 12 draws, actually, and then I won in a tiebreak. But like, the games were super high quality, and he was very evenly matched. And then he was actually using Leela, the AlphaZero clone, which we didn't have access to. Like, we didn't even know that was the thing. But the thing is, like, after AlphaZero came out in late 2018, there was a period, half a year maybe, early 2019, where you could very clearly see which players have been using these neural networks or knew how to use them, and which players didn't. And my coach, he got into it very quickly, and we got an advantage of basically everybody but that guy who had been using it during the match. And it just made us understand the game a lot better.
It's almost counterintuitive that you wouldn't want to play the computer because the computer makes you look stupid. Because the idea in my mind would be like, well, you should play the best thing that you could possibly play. And if that's a computer, great. If that's another human being, then play the human being. But I would imagine that playing something that makes you feel stupid would, at the very least, teach you something about the game.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, like, you know that these are usually things that humans cannot replicate. And to be fair, like, the kids these days, a lot of them play like a more concrete brand of chess that is more similar to engines than we have seen in the past,
because they've had so much exposure to it.
Yeah, like they're less dogmatic, more concrete in their thinking. But then I know that there are usually other things that are lacking, so I could sort of steer the game there as well. So I don't know. I haven't found it particularly useful, but maybe I'm just, yeah, I don't want to.
Is it partly because you just don't want to lose?
Yeah, of course. And it's also because, as you said, like, chess is a very lonely game. Like, when you lose, it's because you're worse than your opponent. And imagine losing to somebody who you know is like completely stupid, which like traditional chess computers are. They're stupid. They just have much more computing power than you do. So losing over and over again to something that's so stupid, like that's not a good feeling.
Could you help explain to me what are the factors? Like what is it doing that you can't do in terms of calculating positions and moves and strategies?
Well, first of all, it's infinitely faster. So there will be certain possibilities that I will rule out because of my intuition, but it is able to calculate in a very short time that it's possible. It will never make blunders like simple tactical mistakes. The neural networks sometimes do, but traditional engines don't. And like I can keep like most of the moves that I make will be the same as they do, but they don't make any real blunders at all. Like they may make slight positional mistakes, but honestly, most of the time that I think an engine makes a positional mistake is because I don't understand it well enough.
So it's not really a mistake.
No. And it might look like one, but it's long term.
Yeah, it's just that my understanding is not good enough, and that is useful. Then that does help me learn.
What are what is the difference between the approach that the neural network takes versus a traditional engine? Like why is one of them approaching the game differently?
Because one of them is constantly calculating, based on sort of what humans have taught them is like the value of what is the value of a pawn, what's the value of a knight, and what is the value of a far advanced pawn and all of this. Like it calculates based on that. A neural network you just show it the rules of chess and play against yourself a lot of times and get better. And it just has a different approach. Like what it does is just based on the games that it's played against itself, right? So